Sweet, Jeff. Sweet, man.
Oh, thank you.
Very nice. Thank you for setting the tone.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It's such an honor to be here.
amazing, Jeff. That was incredible. Thank you so much.
Love the looping, man. Love the looping.
Oh yeah, man, it's so much fun.
Well, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Katie Zuber. I'm the co-host tonight for our 22nd speaker music series with Hawaii Farmers Union. I'm also in charge of membership and communications for HFUU. So if you ever have any questions or comments about anything membership, communication related, please reach out to me. My email is hfuu@hfuu.org. Tonight we have here with us, as you heard, the incredible Jeff Tree, musician hailing from Kona, the Big Island. Jeff is going to tell us in a little bit about an exciting event he has coming up. He's participating in on August 10th in the Big Island, but also check out his website, jefftreemusic.com, for all of his upcoming events, his music. As you can tell, he's amazing. So check out his site. We also have here with us Kuhr. So excited about this chat tonight. He is our Kohala chapter president of HFUU. He's also the co-founder and executive director of the Hawaii Institute of Pacific Agriculture in Kohala. He does 1,000,001 things. He's incredible. So yeah, definitely stick around for this one. It's going to be a great event. If you have questions for either individual, please post it to the chat feature. Please post to everyone. If you have any specific issues, please chat to me. I'm the host of the Zoom call. We'll have a Q&A portion with Dash towards the end. So any questions that come up, please put in the chat feature, and then know for the last 10 or 15 minutes of that chat with him, we will get to the answers. So other than all of that, we are the Hawaii Farmers Union United. I'm going to pass things off to Vincent Mina, our president of our organization, and he will kick off the evening.
Thanks, Katie. Aloha, everybody, and welcome back to the 22nd. Wow, how time flies, huh? It's been an enriching time, all these series that we're doing, and tonight's no different than in the spirit that we got brother man Kuhr here on tonight. Dash, before we get into it, I just want to share with folks that we really appreciate all the support that comes to HFUU. We have an amazing amount of dedicated volunteers in our organization that just put an incredible amount of time and effort into making this organization what it is. We have some paid staff, but mainly the passion and the involvement of people concerned about their well-being and where their food comes from is this organization. And so we're really happy and satisfied in knowing that there is a community out there who truly, wants to have healthy food, wants to have a healthy and clean environment, and wants to raise their families in a way that they can have some kind of sensibility to all the chaos that's happening around us. So hfuu.org is our website. Katie's been doing a great job keeping it updated. We have a mini convention coming up this weekend, or not this weekend, next weekend actually. I leave to go to the Hawaii Island on Wednesday. On Thursday, we make our way up to Starseed Ranch where Dash is. Starseed hosted us last year, thanks to Dash and Erika and their gracious welcoming and to the organization and bringing us there to be able to strategically plan our way forward. So if you're an HFUU member, you probably received an email today that has a survey in it, and we would highly appreciate you taking that survey and getting it back to us as soon as possible so we can then take those results to strategic planning and be able to move our mission forward in serving our membership and serving the agricultural community here in Hawaii. So one question I have though, tonight's Big Island Smiling, yeah? And why isn't there a t-shirt yet? Big Island Smiling, huh? Dash, I mean, it seems like it's like there for the taking for somebody, right? All these years. Dash, you're muted. So while he unmutes himself, I want to introduce him. in the spirit that getting Farmers Union going here, it was birthed out of an association called Maui Aloha Aina. My wife Irene and I produced 13 body and soil conferences here on Maui. And it was from those conferences that we were able to get HFUU launched into the stratosphere of, our ability to go to legislature and our ability to go on a national level to bring what we value in agriculture forward. And there was a man there in Kohala, him and his wife, doing similar work with an organization called HIP Agriculture. Just love that name, because what is HIP? Yeah, as the song says, and it has to be how we fuel ourselves and how we educate others to be able to do the same thing, and also raise up our keiki in a way to, draw out their innate intelligence. So I'd really like to hear from Dash, how him and Erika got this started and where they're at today. So Dash, aloha, brother.
Hey Vince, happy to be on the call. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Really? Yes, it's definitely been an amazing process.
Well, you're kind of breaking up now. You were clear before you had the headphones. Maybe take the headphones off. I'm not sure. Want to try that?
Any better?
Yeah. Go ahead, Dash.
That is better?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, it's been such an amazing process and journey to be involved in small family agriculture. I've been farming these last 14 years, and what originally inspired us to move to a farm in California, in San Diego, was my wife was pregnant with our first child and son, and so we moved to the land, and that set us on a lifelong path, I would say, of being farmers and educators and land stewards. And I'm happy to say we just got our first farm that we bought up here in North Kohala, and we're out by Polu Valley, and it's definitely going to be a space where we continue to cultivate food and educate our community. And it's a pretty amazing and beautiful story, because about 6 months after we moved to Big Island, we received our first grant from the Kohala Center to do an after-school program for high school students, basically paying them to work on the farm and learn all about agriculture. That was through Nancy Redfeather. Shout out to her. She's a mentor and an advisor to our nonprofit organization, and I love her dearly. And so we got that grant, and it just kind of snowballed from there, that we continued to offer programs, education, and operate a working family farm operation, commercial operation that was bringing fresh produce to market. And it evolved over the years. And actually, the farm that we bought, the nonprofit organization that we founded, was born here from this land. I like to think that it was born from, we were living in such a state of food abundance and food security, and we really realized that the rest of our community didn't have that food access, nor did they have maybe the technical know-how and knowledge of how to cultivate the foods and the different crops. And so we founded the nonprofit organization with a mission of freeing that information, or sharing that information with the public, and really working to build a movement of food sovereignty, which we've come a long way. And we got a lot more good work to continue.
Well, the beautiful thing too, Dash, is that you, in having this organization, you understand and value the importance of being involved in a national farming organization. Could you elaborate on that? Because I know we go to the legislature together, and you being in the past, you were legislative chair, and you're still involved in it. It's just that how many hats can we wear, and how much bandwidth do we have? Yeah. But could you just share about the importance of that?
Yeah, I consider HFUU to be the most important organization for family farms statewide. And our voice at the legislature, we would have no representation if it wasn't for the work of Vincent, and you know, the HFUU state leadership and the legislative and the policy efforts and the work that's been achieved in the last, what, how many years now has it been, Vince? Is it
11.
6?
We're 11
At the
years.
ledge. How many years at the
Oh, at the
ledge?
ledge. Yeah, we've been, let me see, we pretty much got going around 2015, right?
2015, yeah. I'm just so amazed and impressed and proud of the organization for the conversations, the relationships that have been built since 2015 at the legislature, and not just with our state representatives and senators, but our, you know, our local county officials. I mean,
Right.
these are really complex, challenging issues we're facing in terms of how we're going to create food security. And a lot of people want it. And, you know, honestly, like, our politicians really need, you know, they need help. And sometimes we need a change in leadership too, right? And for them to get a little more political will. But the union has been essential, and not just educating, you know, homesteaders and farms with agricultural knowledge, but educating our politicians on what's needed
Right. Yeah,
in order
because, you know,
to push the ball forward.
that's right. Because as you know, they're not farmers, and so they really look to us. And the majority of our presidents being producers really helps in that spirit. And so that's great, Dash, that you know, articulate it in that way. And what you're doing, could you elaborate on the farm to school program that you've been working on, massaging there in Kohala? I know it's a statewide effort, but yet specifically in Kohala, could you share some of the wins that you've had in that respect to move this needle forward from farm to school?
Yeah, definitely. So when the lieutenant governor launched a pilot farm to school program, and Kohala, because of its small size of our complex, which is 3 schools, elementary, middle, and high, was selected to pilot that program. And we were the lead nonprofit on the ground, nonprofit farm that was providing fresh produce that was actually grown in Kohala straight into the cafeteria. And we've done that for about, I guess, 3 years now. And then we also got to host a second pilot, which is garden to cafeteria. And we were one of only 2 schools in the state where we were able to produce food on campus and get it directly into the cafeteria as well. As a result of those efforts and that work, that's really what spurred and caused the birth of the Kohala Food Hub, which is now a food hub that's up here in North Kohala that is working to aggregate and distribute produce from multiple producers. We have about 25 producers that participate in that. And our goal, I think, over the next 4 years, we really want to grow to having 100 active producers that are backyard growers, commercial growers, gentleman farmers that are putting in orchards, that we can really up production coming out of North Kohala region and get that food into institutional buying, farm to school, farm to hospital, and also other more lucrative markets with higher price points.
Yeah, well, that's the whole rub now, that is the DOE and the price points, and people not connecting the dots about denatured food we're feeding our children, and the value of locally produced food that's been grown with regenerative agricultural practices. So all that nutrient density is there in the food. So how have you been navigating that in your communication with this whole thing?
So I would say, especially through COVID, our local farm to school efforts took a big hit. The state had incredible budget cuts, and a lot of, they've just are in a very constricted mode. There's also a shakeup at procurement, which was like, they're still needing to get a new procurement guy in place. So that's really challenging. But at the same time, likewise, at the legislature this year, of course, they passed and the governor signed a bill flipping the management of farm to school out of the Department of Agriculture into DOE, which is really, something that a lot of people lobbied for and is, I believe, the right direction to move it. So although there's been a little back step with COVID, I'm optimistic that we're going to continue to move forward. And regardless, born out of this process, what we're going to have in Kohala is a GAP certified wash pack that's going to enable producers to get more fresh produce to market in an era where food safety is going to be increasingly challenging.
Right.
So I look at that as a win as well. And we just got to keep, we just got to keep going.
Well, that's what I really appreciate about the fact of who we are in having 13 chapters across the islands. And when you have wins in one chapter, that's able to then be able to cookie cutter across the other chapters so people don't have to reinvent the wheel. I know there's a gentleman on here tonight, one of our brothers, leaders, Scott Crawford from Hana. And I see you two as sister areas, Kohala and Hana right across from the channel of each other, and basically has similar environments that you can grow an abundance of nutrient-rich food and the diversity of nutrient-rich food. And, seeing what you're doing, I'm really excited to see you and Scott interact when we come to strategic planning next week, because some of the things you're doing there in Kohala, I'm sure will have his head spinning in the spirit of where they can take their hub, in the development of their hub there in Hana, because I just came from there this past weekend, and their farmers market's off the hook. What they got going on there is, and they're really big around, serving the elders, the kupuna. And so there's a script program, and the kupuna gets some scripts that they shop at the market before anybody else does. And it's just really a wonderful thing. And as that evolves forward, it brings more and more attention to the richness of that region, just like Kohala, so yeah, some good stuff going on there. And that's where whenever I hear anything in Hana, I think of Kohala and vice versa, because you guys are so similar.
Yeah.
So you have with your movement forward in HIP, what are the age groups that you're teaching right now? What does the apprentice program look like? What you got going on there?
Yeah, so a couple of our core programs. One is youth education around nutrition and gardening. And we were really busy this summer actually with a bunch of different groups, college age, high school age, mostly on the land. On a regular basis, when we're not in COVID, we host quite a few field trips. But even throughout the pandemic, we've been able to continue in-person instruction at the high school. We work really closely with high school students, mentoring them on agricultural skill, and we have a working plot at the high school that produces food for the cafeteria. Nice. Our goal is that the students we're training at the high school eventually move into the agricultural sector. So really looking at how we can create career-connected learning. So the youth we're training end up, on farms locally, but also working at the food hub with aggregation and distribution. And that's kind of like the long range plan. We do run a residential farmer training program on site at the farm as well. It's a 26-acre farm. And we have a home that we run the program through. And at any given time, we have about 5 apprentices on land that are working with our farm manager, managing a commercial kind of market garden, agroforestry, and orchard operation.
Nice. And then you take
about
that to the
10
hub.
beehives. And
you take that to the hub?
That food goes direct to Hawai'i Farmers Market, Kohala Food Hub, Farm to School, and like a couple of restaurants.
Right on. And are they noticing, there's a lady in Lanikai, Mindy Jaffe, that's taking all the food waste and all the waste and teaching the kids how to compost and such, and then selling the compost back to the parents for their program. And it's a neat program. And it sounds like you guys, what you're doing with Farm to School, that seems like a next natural step to occur in these schools. Yeah, that there could be that kind of that holistic, that whole system in a sense being fed in the schools and educating our children along the way. I mean, this is such exciting stuff, man. Especially because of our children's innate intelligence that they already have built around them being on this planet. It just needs to be brought out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And are you finding that with your program? Do you find that a lot of these children are innately like plugged in already?
Oh, well, it's funny you bring that up because we're actually hosting 2 youth right now on the farm. I mean, they're here with us for 2 weeks, but these children are so amazing. They're 15 and 16, and they are the most lit, inspired, activated youth gardeners that I've ever met in my entire life. This 15-year-old, he hands down is the fastest, most like thorough weeding machine of anyone who I've ever hosted on the land all of these years. And that is a lot of people. Like it's been probably, we've had 300 different people live with us on the farm over the last, 13 years. And the work that they're doing, they're so adorable. They've created a youth run program called Seeds of Honua.
Wow.
And we're getting really excited to partner with them and sponsor them. And we may even host this 16-year-old girl. She's so inspired. She's begging us to let her live on the farm and wants to run a seed saving garden on property. And I'm telling you, like, I cannot even make up the stuff they were telling me last night in the conversation. They are blowing my mind, their commitment to local agriculture. And it is very inspiring and definitely creates hope that there could be a mass awakening of children ready to rise up with us, you know what I mean? And really put the trees in the ground and build the compost and create the statewide food system that we want to see.
Are we going to be able to meet them at strategic planning? Will they still be there?
Tyler will probably be back by then. I will definitely invite Sebastian up. Yes, he was featured. We released a series of educational videos that's on our YouTube channel, Hip Agriculture YouTube channel, and he was featured in one of them. He was featured in the compost building episode. This young man, Sebastian.
Right. Did he present to us at our last strategic planning? Remember we had a?
I think he spoke to you guys. Yeah, I asked him to do a little speech, right?
Yeah, impressive. Yeah, so please bring him back. Anything you want to do in front of the board, it's always a great thing to have them meet the leadership of HFUU, because these are our future leaders, right? It
would be cool for HFUU to give them a little mini grant, because they're on fire, and the more partnership and collaboration and opportunities to meet other leaders, they really, appreciate.
Well, this is the kind of space that we're holding, yeah, Dash, and we have, for everyone on the call tonight, we have a foundation, Hawaii Farmers Union Foundation. We accept donations. We're a 501c3 that can be put towards just exactly this. So, it's really a wonderful thing. I know Gary Albaze is a donor of ours. He's on tonight. I mean, it's a great thing to do, folks, if you're really into this, to be able to, direct support and resources to raising the level of awareness and the level of drawing out that innate intelligence onto the land. Because when you have our youth plugged in and dialed in that respect, I have two right now working on our farm, summer jobs, and they're like, they're volunteering in a sense, but at the same time, they're just stoked to be learning, to be mentored in this way. Mm-hmm. And so, it's really a wonderful thing that we have this opportunity to bring all this forward. Yeah, Dash.
Yeah.
Is Erika around tonight? We can say hi to Erika.
She's not back yet, but she's gonna. I think she's gonna pop in and say hi.
Good. So talk to me, Dash. What are you looking at? How are you projecting out another year ahead for HIP and for also the Kohala chapter of HFUU? Because it's really sweet. I totally appreciate the fact that you've taken all your work in HIP and brought that together with HFUU, because it is a natural fit. And the fact I know, and man, as a leader, as a fellow leader, we're like one-armed paper hangers, not only working to lead in the community, but also run a farm. But yet, who can speak better for agriculture than practitioners? Who knows better that when we get up in the morning and we may not feel like getting on the farm stay calling us going, hey, look, if you don't come out, then this crop that you need to harvest is going to get too old. It's not going to be vital anymore, and you got to do it. And so, who better can speak to that than folks that are producing?
Yeah, I mean, I think that HFUU has been essential in helping to guide our vision in Kohala forward of what needs to happen in regards to achieving food security and food sovereignty. And like the pillars are pretty simple. I mean, it's like, the land access piece, and an aggregation and distribution. So we've been working on agricultural land trusts, or,
Right.
land access, and then
labor,
food hub for the processing, and
Right.
farmer training. And like, if we can really put energy behind those three things, not just here in Kohala, but statewide. And that's why, at the Ledge, of course, that was my focus, was
Right.
lobbying for those three items in particular, because I think that's where we can get some scale. There's some land up here in North Kohala that we were looking and trying to work with our senator to purchase for an agricultural park. And she
Right.
actually put in a $6.7 million CIP to buy some land up here in North Kohala, and that all stopped with COVID and the budget cuts. But fortunately, a private owner came in and actually bought 6,000 acres, which is like kind of our main, has a lot of potential. It's where sugarcane started, because it's verdant and it's moist, and he's ready. His vision is diversified agriculture
Beautiful.
and regenerative agriculture, and
Uh-huh.
putting carbon back in the soil.
Wonderful.
So there's an aligning that's happening, I think, with the land access and inspiring the producers, educating the producers, driving up production. We want to plant 10,000 trees in North Kohala. And I got
Wow.
one of our dear board members on the call. Donna Maltz is on the call, and of course Jeff Goodwin has been in circle with us around visioning sessions for this vision of, let's really increase tree agriculture in our region, and also crop, other crop production. But we
Right.
see that a lot of landowners are going to be willing to put in trees. And so we've been doing a lot of market research through the food hub. And that's where I'm very excited for the opportunity there through the food hub to do more coconut processing, really get like a kava industry going. We have a huge demand for citrus from our hotels. And of course,
Right.
we want to grow more ulu to support the ulu cooperatives work.
Right.
And there's some other co-crops as well that we're going to be focusing on. And meanwhile, as we're engaging the landowners to put all this stuff in, we're going to keep teaching the youth and inspiring them and giving them practical skills, so that, as these orchards are needing to be pruned and maintained and harvested, and, the food needs to be aggregated and processed and delivered, that we're creating a local economy that's actually going to create some rural jobs that,
Beautiful.
the youth don't have to be corporate slaves, or can
maybe
find
move
right
on.
livelihood, right livelihood that's regenerating the land.
Absolutely.
So I think, putting all these puzzle pieces together, often I feel like it's a really challenging 3-dimensional puzzle with like humans and all their emotions.
Right.
And it's tricky, man. And we gotta keep working at it.
Yeah. And look, we're so challenged, right, Dash, in agriculture with invasive species. I mean, every day you're starting to hear more and more challenges around, whether it's fire ants or rat lungworm, the semi-slugs, or, I mean, the list goes on, coffee rust, and all these challenges that nature basically is just wanting to get our attention. It seems like we just have not given nature its just due in how to emulate its architecture, and so, and that's a quote I use graciously, from Ray Archuleta, who's going to be speaking at our convention again this year. We're having an opportunity here, especially with COVID, when things all slowed down and more attention got paid towards local food and the importance of our local food supply. And we did lose an opportunity at the legislature for food hub support, for farm apprentice mentoring support, just like we were talking about that 6.7 million CIP. We lost that because it was just right there for the picking. They were going to fund all that. So hopefully, let me back up. What concerns me mainly is that we haven't learned what COVID was looking to teach us. And so it's a situation where, because everything is about now getting the economy back going, and ramping up tourism and, getting back to quote unquote normal. And, truly, if more attention is being paid to agriculture, then we'll be able to get there. And so that's why I encourage, the work that we're doing right now. I'm happy to hear that there was a private landowner who bought 6,000 acres and is interested in putting, carbon back into the soil. And that's all done by having humates in the soil, right? As you well know. And without, how do you get those humates in the soil is by growing roots, is by organic matter. And so regenerative agricultural practices give us that. And so it's exciting to know that we have an initiative out right now, the Soil Health Initiative through HFUU and NRCS, and having all the agricultural agencies at the table, valuing soil health. And so it's really a wonderful thing to hear that there's private landowners dedicated to that, Dash. And one of the things I want to share in that spirit is that, we're working collaboratively and cooperatively with the agencies to move this forward in a way that we will attract private sector support. We will attract legislative policy support, because it is such a broad network of agricultural entities that are at the table and committed to this. So, it's the support that our membership gives us, being not only as members, but also, speaking well of HFUU out in the community will only help bolster that ability to get to where we want to get to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a commercial, but at the same time, it's not, because it's speaking to what you're sharing, and what's going on in your excitement there in Kohala. And you multiply that out to all the agricultural regions throughout these islands. And now next thing you know, we're ramping agriculture up, right?
And I think, the union's been looking for support for local agriculture where we can find it, and looking for friends, whether it's at the ledge or local government. But with these challenging state and local government budget situations, I think we really are going to need private capital to step up. We're going to need more individual donors. We're going to need more activation in that regard from foundations. And I am happy to say and hear that foundations are really thinking about increasing funding to food systems projects. And I really celebrate that, because I think COVID is really bringing it to focus. The vulnerability is pretty sketchy, and especially with what's unfolding in California with the Colorado River Basin and that whole food producing region.
Yeah, it's drying up. The outside of just the vulnerability, the fact that we're here in paradise on earth, right? I mean, how dare we not, look to Hawaii as being the producer it can be without choking it, feeding the land that feeds us. And so that's a big part of who we are in HFUU. And look at our leadership, Dash. We're all going to be celebrating that next week on your farm. All these leaders coming together, networking with one another, celebrating all the work that we've done in our individual chapters, being inspired by all that. So this way we can go back home to our chapters and really bring value to the community. I was sharing with you earlier about this here. Evan Lamb is going to be at your place too for strategic planning with his cardboard shredding machine. And as I shared, I'm wanting to see this in every chapter, that we have this kind of equipment to where people can vermicompost, whether they're on their farm and or their home gardens, be able to build their soils to grow nutrient-rich food. So it's that kind of value that we're bringing to the community, right, Dash? In the spirit of all this educational process. And it's exciting, man. It's exciting, especially with seeing young leaders like yourself and playing at the level you're playing at. So you inspire me, brother. I tell you, man, I'm totally appreciative of the level that you're bringing all this forward. And it's something to be reckoned with in the spirit of, when we try to get these legislators on board, they better. Otherwise, they're not going to be well supported moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What would you say is the number one goal that you envision our organization, you know, outside of, well, let me see how I can phrase this. You know, I just talked about a couple things: our soil health initiative, our, you know, bringing value into the community by having shredded cardboard parties, and, you know, what do you think our organization, in aligning with all those tenets, where do you think we need to even take it up a step higher?
Yeah, I think with the state leadership that we have, we're in a position where we could start to garner larger amounts of resources that could really be distributed statewide. That's a role that I'd really like to see the state organizations, the foundation, and the membership organization moving into, because we have so many good people throughout the state doing incredible work. And it's just amazing how a little bit of support and some resources really magnifies those efforts. And I think that we can be a crucial conduit for creating funding, education, connection, and networking. I mean, the networking and the idea sharing is essential as well for really.
Go ahead, Dash, finish. I'm sorry.
That wasn't one goal, but I guess the one main one though was garnering more resources and then distributing them statewide.
That's great. No, that's great, because, you know, you have somebody like, for instance, Warren Buffett. He puts up $1 billion and then challenges all his friends to put up $1 billion. I mean, you know, we have so much people with money in these islands. How is it that we don't have foundations coming forward and going, here, you know, keep doing the work you're doing? You know, I sit on the Board of Agriculture. Our legislature gives the Board of Agriculture less than 0.5%. I mean, you know, this is not my idea of building confidence in agriculture being a leader in the state. So, you know, having the private sector step up. I mean, if we could just hold the legislature to policy development that would support an agricultural system being ramped up in a way that would regenerate itself, you know, so we're not poisoning the land. You know, I don't know of any farmer, I said this before, that wakes up in the morning and goes, okay, so how can I poison people today? You know, they kind of learned a modality that had all those chemicals built into it, and the land just wasn't cooperating, still isn't cooperating, you know? And so we want to be able to bring those farmers along. Perfect example, Bobby Paella. Look at what Bobby's doing, brother Bobby, in here on Maui, where our convention is going to be this year. As a matter of fact, Hawai'i Taro Farm. He went from conventional farming and totally like said, man, I'm going to go into a regenerative direction. And it's wonderful to see what they've done on that land, old sugarcane land, you know, beautiful, the food that they're growing on that land. And people will get a firsthand view of it too. So November 11th through the 14th this year. Hope everybody can make it, because it's going to be quite a time of celebrating our agricultural presence within HFUU and its community. But we have two mini conventions coming up, right? One at Starseed next weekend, on next Saturday. And is Vincent Kimura on, Katie? Is Vincent on?
He is not, but I would love to talk about.
Speak about it. Yeah, you've been intimately involved in building this thing. Talk about our mini convention.
Yeah, so let me just share my screen really quick. So yeah, if you go onto our homepage, hfuu.org or hfuhi.org, you'll see the itinerary and information about our Body and Soil Convention, which is a week from Saturday, August 7th in Kohala. So here's kind of the itinerary right here, some of our sponsors. You can register right down here or up here. Register right there at the orange button, and registration is actually closing Friday. So definitely you've only got about 48 hours to register for it, but it's going to be an incredible day. I'm really excited. We've got a great turnout already, incredible food, cooked by actually Dash's wife, Erika. So yeah, there's still time.
There's going to be a tea panel, food hubs panel, a cover crop. How's the cover crop growing, Dash?
It's going very well.
Good.
Yeah, we got it planted and it was pretty dry, and we had the sprinklers going and it all popped. And then we just got big rains for like 7 days. So it's real vigorous.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, 10
Well,
days
that
actually straight
cover crop
rain.
demonstration. That's going to be wonderful. As a matter of fact, at the convention this year, we're going to have a backhoe trench so we can see some of the soil horizons when you got cover crops in the ground and how that can benefit soil health. And so that mini convention's happening Saturday in the midst of our strategic planning, because we're going to be strategic planning on Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. And then we move to Kahumana in Waianae, August 28th, around that area, for the next mini convention, and leading up to our major convention on Maui. So this way, it was a brainchild of Drake and Vincent Kimura last year's strategic planning. They were masterminding this at night to have these mini conventions to be able to lead up to our main convention, so we could build capacity, so we could have people, you know, in their communities that don't normally get to the outer island to our conventions, to be able to experience what this represents and how it can really help educate and inspire people forward. Yeah. So Dash, the floor is open to you, brother. You share with me and others what you feel you'd like to elaborate on with what we've been talking about, maybe, or something else that you've been envisioning. Do you have a Ina Fest in the ethers happening anytime in the future?
Yeah, so we took last year off, of course, because of the virus, and then taking this year off as well. But we're shifting. Last year we did the educational videos that I mentioned, and we did get some funding from Hawaii County to do another round of educational videos. Cool. And I'm really happy about those because it's a living resource. And even with the festival, for those of you that don't know, it's a one-day agricultural festival with a whole bunch of live music, educational workshops, whole bunch of local food prepared, and then other education going on. And so, yeah, we're taking a pause from that, focusing more on the video production, planning on coming back 2022 is our plan right now.
Good.
And we're looking at some different headliners for that. But this has been a big year for us. You know, we shut down our farm basically of 10 years down the road from here, and we bought a new farm, and it was a pretty major process to move out here.
All right.
Like, it's kind of crazy moving a whole farm operation, and we moved some yurts and some buildings and all the equipment and the tents and the nursery and nursery tables, and it just seemed like it just kept going on and on the move. But I'm really happy we're here. We've consolidated all of our operations. Prior to this, we had multiple sites, multiple farm sites. And of course, that poses challenges of inefficiency with hauling, you know, crew and materials and equipment. So we're all at one farm, and it's like a 10x upgrade for our family home and for our nonprofit organization headquarters and our farm worker housing. It's got better water infrastructure. And so we've really been spending this last kind of year and a half that we've been here to solidify the foundation. And we've been putting in, improving some core infrastructure. We put in 3 greenhouses this year. Nice. So we could do a little bit of controlled climate, you know, cultivation, focusing on some tomatoes and cucumbers, and kind of diversify what we're bringing to market. And then we've been putting in a lot of polycultures and agroforestry fields on site with a lot of kava and medicinal herbs and taro. So the gardens are looking really nice and productive and verdant. We opened up some new market garden blocks where we're doing some more of the temperate weather vegetables also. And we got a lot of work to do, you know, to get more mineral in the soil. We got all our soil tests in order and planning our fertility program. We'll likely be building a compost brewer on site with Bobby Grimes that we can start brewing up a lot of compost tea.
Good. Do you find in your soil test, do you find there's calcium's limiting factor? How's your calcium levels?
Yes.
You find your calcium levels are low?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, right,
And
right,
also, yeah, and really really acidic as well. So just
right.
gonna be correcting that.
Right on. Well, we were just in Hana this past weekend, like I said, for the farmers market there, and we got to go to Robert, our president, Robert, in his farm, his chocolate, his cacao farm, and I'll tell you, man, his chocolate's outrageous, just really delicious, and you know, and he sweetens it with monk fruit, so it's just like you know, people are getting so creative around their farms, and the value added that's coming out of these farms is quite a wonderful thing to see. And Robert
Robert's
was
on the
part of.
call.
Oh, he's on the call. Good. He was part of a panel we had on our one of our past speaker series talking about chocolate. And it's really nice to see that there's this renaissance around niche markets, and that people are just like hungry for it. They want to have all these kind of locally grown products here. One of the biggest issues though, Dash, and I feel like you can concur and also speak to, because you were just talking about it and moving your farm, is our infrastructure. We all have to be MacGyvers, yeah, as farmers, because our infrastructure is constantly being impacted by our practices, and in order to have a consistent food supply requires a certain level of infrastructure that, unless it's maintained and beefed up, it gets beat up. And so I know people say, well, that's the cost of doing business. Yeah, but not in agriculture. Agriculture, that's essential, man. We need people to be producing food. People got to have, I heard a great thing today, George Carlin talking about, rights, human rights. And he was talking about God given rights. He said, well, God would have given you the right to have food, adequate food supply, and have adequate water if he was really there to give you your rights, And so we don't have that, unfortunately. And it's really a sad commentary that, the commons is not supported in a way that people can get access to clean water and nutrient-rich food on a consistent basis. So, what is your feelings around the whole infrastructural aspect and how people see agriculture, outside of a business, that they don't really see it as an essential component to our existence?
I feel aligned with you that government should definitely invest in more core infrastructure to enable and empower farmers to produce. I mean, look at California, like they have infrastructure that facilitates their ability to be the largest food growing state in the nation, pretty much. And that's because the state invested. Look at Japan. Japan has a really, healthy state of its agriculture, and the government invests. So yeah, I think that's really essential. And I want to ping, you and the listeners right now that with the Biden infrastructure plan, the word we're getting from some of the foundations is that this is going to be a really critical opportunity to do some of the investment into agriculture infrastructure that we want to see. There's going to be a way that we can get some of that funding and should strategically get as much as we possibly can directed to creating core infrastructure that we're going to need to sustain our populations and really thrive. So I think that's going to be important for the union to track, and I'll definitely be keeping our board apprised of that. Good. As I get more information as well.
No, it's great, Tash. I really enjoy going to legislature with you because you're very articulate, and you have the depth and breadth of all your experience over the years that you speak from, and it comes across really well. And so I wanted to get some questions here from folks. Is there any questions in the chat, Katie?
No questions.
I answered them all.
There you go.
You did.
Well, if anybody has any questions, please post them in the chat. So Dash, we talked about infrastructure, the importance of infrastructure. How do we deal with invasive species from your point of view?
Oh, that's a tough one.
You have fire ants? Are you having any problem with fire ants?
What's that?
Is there any fire ants in Kohala?
Um, not on this farm, but they're in the area, and I'm definitely wanting to invest more time and resources into eradication. It's really it's a really challenging problem. I mean, I think of course we, as people practicing agroecology, we educate that biodiversity is key and diversity of crop selection, because
Right.
we got different blights are hitting our coconut palms, and I'm just going to keep planting coconuts and get the boron up in the soil and get more of that salt water sprayed across the land, and hopefully we'll lose less, but we gotta keep planting. So I think diversity, and then don't stop planting.
Right on.
And on the homestead level, the diversity can be pretty staggering. Like there's a lot more tropical vegetables and beans and different fruits that we can be growing, and so I'm working on that personally. And then
Good.
also on our farm, we're trying to keep a diverse crop list that isn't too diverse, so
Well,
not to overwhelm us.
yeah, well, the diversity is important, no doubt about it. My question, especially now you hear more of food forests and such, when it comes into having an agribusiness operation, to where you need to really be efficient and you need to really have, a consistent supply. How is that brought about in an agroforestry type situation? When harvesting becomes, you know, getting equipment in or getting people in, just it's a different kind of a agricultural system, that doesn't necessarily bring the kind of yields or access to those yields. I'm just wondering, how does that work out for you? I know in Kohala, there's it's like kind of more of a diverse kind of an agricultural system, but yet how is it efficient in being able to be a business?
Yeah, I mean, Mark Shepard wrote a great book, Restoration
Yeah,
Agriculture. I mean,
yeah,
he's doing it, of course, in this kind of like oak savanna in middle America, but
yeah.
we're in process, I would say, of developing models that work for Hawaii, that are we're basically planting orchards, but we're getting a lot of food in the meantime while the orchards grow. And
Right
it's
on.
a strategy that we can utilize to get some cash flow moving to our farmers and some food moving out to the people while we get our longer term trees established. We still plant them in rows. We could still potentially run mowers and tractors in between those rows. I mean, Mark Shepard has developed some pretty innovative, like he created some of his own machines so that he could do mechanized agroforestry.
Right on.
And I think, often we know in Hawaii, we're behind even other, countries like India with our agricultural skill.
Yeah.
I'm super into V trellis as well. I mean, we don't have any going yet, but I foresee putting some of that into.
Right on.
And
That's Peter
yeah,
Solaris's work. Yeah, Peter
yeah,
Solaris has spoken at our convention. And you bring about Mark Shepard. For folks out there who haven't heard of him, he speaks at Acres every year, Acres USA conference, which happens the first week of December. And I got to hear Mark speak, and the guy, yeah, it's pretty amazing what he's doing there. And so that's cool that you're emulating things that he's putting in play, there on the mainland.
there's a couple questions on the feed. Should I just answer them real quick?
Yeah, please.
We have about anywhere from 22 to 25 people on property managing the operation with us, and that's 12 adults and 10 children, and not all of them are full-time farmers. We have nonprofit staff on the land as well, and then we have some team that manages some agritourism that we do. So basically the nonprofit manages all the food production and education, which is like fresh food to market, youth education, and farmer training. And then we have an LLC that does agritourism, which is farm tours, farm to table dinners, and farm stays. So that's kind of the core. In terms of our farmer training program, we've been running year-long and 6-month-long apprenticeships over the last 3 years. And prior to that, we were doing kind of internships and apprenticeships. So we've experimented with the model over the years, but we've been sticking with more of the 6-month or year-long stays, depending on the applicants. In terms of like trial and error in implementing structure of plans, I mean, you know, over the years, it's like we do crop planning and we set financial goals for different crop blocks, you could say. Like we want so much income from the bee operation, or at one point it was the raw dairy, the market garden, the orchard crops, the agroforestry crops. So we set financial goals for kind of our different revenue streams and work towards them. And in terms of trial and error, I mean, we just keep planting and keep selling, and we've had crop loss over the years. And there's been times when I wish I had crop insurance. Like we lost a big ginger crop one year. We're losing carrots right now as I speak because of these really, you know, intense rains we've been getting for like the last 12 days straight. We got a bunch of carrots rotting out in the ground. And that's just, you know, that is the challenge. But then I got a lot of taro that's really happy. I got a lot of apple bananas coming on that are really happy. I have a huge amount of kava that's really happy with all the water. Some of our temperate weather vegetables not so happy. So now we're putting more time into our covered greenhouses, right? As in agriculture and business, and especially in this time, I mean, you just have to be extremely adaptable. I tell myself I am extremely adaptable. And, we're going to have to keep becoming more adaptable. Absolutely. But it doesn't, you know, I wouldn't let, like, I understand this person's question, like they don't want to waste money. How does that factor into our financials? I mean, we've progressed over the years, you know what I mean? Like the amount of money and revenue we generate from the farm has progressed. This has been a really hard year. We've taken a major hit with the move. Like that is not easy financially, and with the startup of the new site.
That question came from your across the channel brother leader, Robert, the president of HANA chapter. And nice. And you know, you hit the nail on the head though. You know, the diversity of the farm really helps in when you have certain crops not doing as well as other crops. I know we have that on our farm, our little 2,500 square foot farm, man. Sometimes all the crops aren't hitting on all cylinders. So it's really nice to have, you know, the crops that keeps that constant consistency of flow producing for the farm. Yeah. Anybody else have any questions? Dash, you want to give us some closing comments before we get back to Jeff and closing us out with the music tonight? Anything you want to share?
I guess I'll share.
Is Erika
and I, uncle, father, he gave me this cool book of like Native American. It was this uncle actually out of Vegas. Sorry, it's kind of random, but this indigenous way, basically this idea that indigenous people are always praying all of things into existence. You know, praying, thanking the sun, thanking the clouds, thanking the land, the trees, the, you know, the spring water, the river, and asking, please, you know, please keep running river, you know, keep flowing water, spring, you know, thank you sun for rising. Like, and I just I want to like leave the listeners with that. I just think it's beautiful to continually pray, you know, with the earth, for the earth's creatures, for our sacred water and mountains, and especially in this time that's extremely challenging, and just, you know, kind of just bringing that energy into our work.
Gratitude, baby. Not overrated, that's for sure. And what a great closing and inspiring thought, Mana'u, Dash. Thank you so much, man. And it's been fun. Brother. Yeah. Chatting with you. Looking forward to seeing you and Erika and the children and us getting together and strategically planning our way forward. I want to, again, encourage everyone to, if you're a member of HFUU, to go to your email and get that survey. If you haven't received the survey, it might be in your spam folder. Get in touch with Katie. Katie, what's the address to get in touch with you?
HFUU at hfuu.org. And everyone, please stick around. Jeff's going to play several songs for us. And I also want Jeff, before or after you sing, to talk about the event you're helping out with on August 10th.
Yeah, big event happening here, happening on Hawaii Island that Jeff's going to share with us. And I just
Dash,
wanted to,
thank you so much.
yeah. Before we hear Jeff, I just want to give a shout out to Katie, our communications chair extraordinaire. She's doing such a great job in our communications and also our membership building. And so she was just on a National Farmers Union membership call this morning where all the other chapters membership chairs were on. You want to give a moment of sharing what happened there, Katie?
Oh, sure. National Farmers Union is amazing. They're doing incredible stuff. Just once a month, we chat about how to better serve our members, and some exciting things were talked about this morning. So everyone should stay tuned on that. Some more emphasis on soil and soil health, and also just always trying to reach our members better. And if you ever have any ideas, please send me an email, message on Instagram or Facebook, and I will. I love hearing feedback and ideas.
And what is our Facebook and Instagram?
They are HFUU official.
HFUU official. Okay, great. And cool. And Dash, thank you again, brother. Appreciate you. It was great, great visiting with you tonight. So Jeff, please share what's going on there on the Big Island that you're involved with.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for having me here. Yeah, so this upcoming August 10th, actually, we're doing the debuting of the Big Island Mobile Stage in Waikoloa. So off of Queens Highway, going towards Kona, going south from Kohala. There's a lot of trash that's on the side of the highway there, scattered throughout the lava fields. And my friend Luke, he's the owner of a company called Happy Bus, and he's been doing trash cleanups for over 10 years here in the Big Island. He's just built a portable stage he's calling the Big Island Mobile Stage, and we're going to be using it for all kinds of events across the islands, or mainly just on the Big Island, but he could build them on, Maui and Kauai, I'm sure, and Oahu. He's very talented. So I'm really excited. Yeah, we're going to be having a whole event. You won't be able to miss us. We're going to be right off the highway, right after the turnoff of Waikoloa, Makai. And then you'll see us picking up trash, having live music out of the stage, food, all organic, grown in Hawaii, squash. So we're going to make squash soup in a commercial kitchen.
Nice.
It's going to be really fun. So come on out August 10th. It's going to be an all-day event.
So what time's to start?
I'd say around 8 a.m. We're going to
Okay.
be getting rolling, picking up trash, and it's going to go throughout past sunset. We're going to have Lapaka Roots wants to come out, and myself and other musician friends and DJs. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
All right. Sounds wonderful. That's
Yeah.
great, man. August 10th.
Yeah, August 10th.
And how is there a website people can go to, or is there any questions? They
Go on to jefftreemusic.com. Also, Happy Bus Hawaii is the website for Luke, who's doing the Big Island Mobile Stage.
Cool. Well, right on, brother. So
Yeah.
please take us out with some music, and thank you for being here tonight.
Here's a song I wrote for this event. It's called Walking Each Other Home. Don't be fooled by fortune and fame, 'cause it'll one day fade away. And what is left to remain but the dust from which we came? Walking each other home and reaping the harvest, the seeds been sown, giving love a chance to be grown. Yeah, we're walking each other home. We all get by with help from our friends. One cycle ends and another begins. The truth will shine through again and again. So take a step, my friend, and let the journey begin. Walk in each other home, reaping the harvest, the seeds been sown, giving love a chance to be grown. Walk in each other home. Walk in each other home, reaping the harvest, the seeds been sown, giving love a chance to be grown. Walk in each other home. Walk in each other home. Walk in each other home.
Woohoo!
All right.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. Ollie likes it. Yeah, Ollie.
Yeah.
You like that harmonica, huh? All right, you got a young fan there.
There we go. It's beautiful to see
Yeah.
the baby there. Right
Cool.
on. I was gonna see if hey Mana, you wanna come in the video? I got my partner just got back and
Oh, good. Say hi.
baby's on the way in September. Let's see if she-
Wow.
Yeah. Wanna say hi?
Aloha.
Hawaii Farmers Union.
Hi. Wow, you're wearing baby well. We have a young baby here. Our communications chair, Katie's baby Ollie.
Oh, hi.
Yeah. Hi. Congratulations, you two.
Congrats.
Thank you, thank you.
All right. Nice
Yeah,
to
we'll
meet you.
keep jamming. We have a song we like to sing together, so
Oh, good. Good. Sounds great.
okay, well, we can just go right into it. This one's called I Am a Soul, and let's see. Hey Bali, you wanna say hi?
Hi.
Hey, brother. Aloha.
Keiki Oka Aina over here. Bali's so amazing, you know, for being just a 6-year-old. Here, come here, say hi.
All right, cool. Hey, brother man, how you doing?
Good.
All right. I like your hair.
All right.
You know, I got a Hawaiian name, no hair.
Oh yeah. Just the other day on Kappa FM, they said the Hawaiian word of the day, bolo head.
Go ahead.
You're bald.
Right.
Like,
That's
it's in
right.
style.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Good to meet you.
So good to meet you too.
You like working the land? You like planting?
Yeah, we just planted, Mama was out in the garden today planting kalo, so
Nice.
see that. And they just brought home all these flowers here. But yeah, I'll do this song called I Am a Soul.
Okay, sounds great.
Flower.
Can I show them this flower?
Look at this flower.
Oh, beautiful. Look like an orchid.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
here we go. Thanks, Colin. Yes, I am a soul. Wherever I go, yeah, you know we'll be alright. 'Cause we're all made of light. So now Mother Earth and Father Sky coming together to make I and I divine creations of love and light, shining so bright like the stars in the night, yeah. And everything in this life will come and go in the blink of an eye, yeah. But one thing I know that's right, the light inside our souls gonna keep shining so bright, yeah. Shining so bright, oh, yes I am a soul. Wherever I go, yes I'll be alright. Yes I am made of light, yeah. Yes I am a soul. Wherever I go, yeah, you know we'll be alright. 'Cause we're all made of light. And we got our roots deep in the earth, connected to the mother ever since our birth. It's time we give her the love that you know she deserves. 'Cause everything we are said we owe it to her. And it's all in the signs you see. So pay attention to every single synchronicity. 'Cause this is our own reality. So apply this ancient wisdom passed on down through the centuries. Apply this ancient wisdom, yeah. The ancient wisdom of Hawai'i, man. I'm so inspired by the HFUU systems from Malka to Makai. Planting seeds with the flow of the vibe. Yeah. We can create communities that thrive. With a KPO behind them, and a Kuhr, for all of us in between. Now's the time to thrive. 'Cause now's the time to thrive. 'Cause now's the time to thrive. Now's the time. Yes, I am a soul. Wherever I go, yes, I'll be alright. Yes, I am made of light. Yes, I am a soul. Wherever I go, say, you know I'll be alright. 'Cause we're all made of light. Yeah. You can find my original music on my website. I just put out an album with my partner about 4 months ago now. It's called Time to Shine. It's on all streaming platforms, and we'd love for you guys to listen to it. This is one of the songs off the album called I Am a Soul. 'Cause we're all made of light.
David.
Woo.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Nice music. You're really uplifting and real relevant to the day. You know, it's great. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, good stuff, brother.
Thank you.
You have a hana ho you want to take us out with, or what?
I'd love to. This song is the one I just learned that many Hawaiian musicians have covered, and I'm very inspired by Hawaiian music and love the culture here. I've been out here about 5 years now, and just absolutely in love with Hawai'i. So this song is called CU Kohala by Olamana.
Oh, beautiful.
I remember days when we were young. We used to catch oku in the mountain stream. while the cold always right. So long ago it seems it wasn't true. Last night I dreamt I was returning, and my heart called out to you. But I fear you won't be as it left you. Que aloha ku home o kaha. I remember days when we were wiser, when the world was small enough for a dream, and you have lingered there, my sisters, and I no longer can see. Last night I dreamt I was returning, and my heart called out to you, and I fear you won't be as it left you. Ke aloha ku home o kaha. Change is a strange thing, it cannot be denied. It can help you find yourself or make you lose your pride. Move with it slowly, it's on the road to go. Please don't hold on to me, we all must go alone. I remember days when we were smiling, when we laughed and sang the whole night long, and I greet you as I find, with the sharing of a brand new song. Last night I dreamt I was returning, and my heart called out to you, and I pray you take me as you find. Ke aloha ku home o kaha. Ke aloha ku home o kaha. Ke aloha ku home o kaha.
Woo, baby, baby. Thank you so much for ending on that song. Just as a personal note, my wife and I just celebrated our anniversary, and Olamana played at our wedding in 1988. So what a sweet way to end the evening. Thank you so much, brother. Yeah. Good
Wow,
stuff.
that's beautiful, man. Yeah, I'm so honored to have been here, and I'm grateful that you guys are doing the work and keeping this thing running. It's amazing.
Thanks,
and
Jeff.
such a vital, important part of the community here in Hawaii.
Right on, brother. Well, all the best to you and your family. Have a healthy, happy baby coming in September, and good luck with your event this coming weekend. Sounds like a lot of fun. I'd be there if I was on Big Island. So enjoy the day. And Katie, thank you again. Dash, appreciate everybody. Be well, everyone. Stay positive. Test negative, and we'll see you at the next speaker series in 2 weeks from now. So aloha, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Blessings.